Okay, thank you very much, guys, for joining today. So I will record this session and make available for you guys. For some of you who have already started this unit, we will have a quick catch-up session where we'll go through all the unit and aspect and concept that you've covered with the tutor. And for those of you that just joined the course, we will have a full introduction of the unit, and I will now explain you all the steps that you have to follow in order for you to complete this unit, and also what material resources are going to be available for you. So this is introduction to web development. This is one of the 6 mandatory units that you will have to cover for this level 3 qualification. So this is a ATHE qualification in computing, and the unit you'll be covering is a variety of them, such as web development, computer programming, database management system, networking, and so on. So for each unit, you probably been taught by me. My name is Victor Anyarobi. I'm a tutor here at UK University. I've taught several qualification with UK University across different levels, from level 3 to level 7, and I have over 5 years teaching experience. And other units might be taught by my colleague, Mr. Henry, who I believe already taught this unit to Clement and other students. So for those of you that are new, that just joined, who now look into web development. So how this qualification works, we normally have sessions which are recorded for those who won't be able to join the session. And for those that join the session, we tend to have an interactive session where we go through the concept, which are going to be our learning outcomes. And then we always have like a Q&A session at the end of the tutorial. So our unit tend to have 4 to 5 sessions, and then we have a assignment discussion as the last session where we go through all we need to know regarding the assignment. So this unit is going to be you're going to receive 10 credit for this unit, which will help you to achieve the number of credit that you need for your next qualification. And the assignment will now be graded with a pass, merit, or a distinction. So once we've completed our sessions, you can now work on your assignment, and you can submit your assignment to learnerwork@ukuniversity.co.uk, which is a monitored mailbox. And once the assignment has been received by our admin, they'll now check for plagiarism and similarities. So we will cover plagiarism and similarities once we jump into our assignment brief. And once the assignment has passed the criteria required for the minimum percentage that is required for which is acceptable by our institution. This will now sent over to me or Henry, and we will now mark assignment. It's also possible for you to send a formative feedback in case you're not sure of what you've written and you want to improve your assignment. You can send it to us for like a formative feedback, where we'll now highlight what you need to improve or change in your assignment, and this will be sent back to you for your final submission. So the unit, each of this unit have a unit aim. So the unit aim for Introduction to Web Development, we're now looking to provide an overview of web development, where learners will now gain knowledge and understanding on how to plan, develop, test, and launch website. You're also going to learners will develop an understanding of engaging users and inclusion of databases within website. So just to make this a bit more interactive, I'll be asking a couple of questions to you guys. So my first question is for you, Ezra. I would like to know a bit more about yourself, like what is your background, and do you have any experiences when it comes to web development?
Well, I've done IT before as a level 2 course, but we didn't really do web development, so I don't have experience in that. But I'd like to do a career in IT, so that's why I want to do a qualification on it.
Okay, so these concepts such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are all new to you, or have you done anything before?
I'm kind of familiar with it. But I don't know like how to program with those languages. I just know about them.
Okay, so you haven't worked on any project with them. Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. So basically your assignment for this unit will be a project based, where um, you have a couple of tasks and you have to work on the project. You now be required to create and implement a website. So this is a really good way to showcase your skills, your ability, and what you've learned so far. So I'll give you some tips, some resources for you to improve your coding skills, some websites which are very useful for you to challenge yourself and see if you do have the good understanding of web development. So I will just go. I won't open presentations for this session because it's very much a extended assignment discussion. So what I'll do, I'll just read through this concept, explain, and then we'll now look into online resources which will help you guys to improve your coding skills. So when it comes to understanding website development planning, it is really, really important that you understand the concept of system development lifecycle. So when working in a team as a web developer, you won't be the only person that will be working on project. So there will be several other coders, developers working with you. So it is important that you have teamwork skills. It is important for you to have soft skills such as communication and ability to problem solve and working on a team. So when it comes to planning the website, as you all know, you now be presented to a client. So the client will now have the requirements. Say, for instance, they want to a website, a e-commerce website where they can host their product. You now be required to cover a system development life cycle where you start from your 7 stages. So we have planning, where you gather all the information, designing, where once you've now planned your website, you know what you want to achieve. You now design, have a storyboard, so you now know how the website should look like. You now implement, where you have coding, the coding side of the website, where we now work with the front end and back end, where you have to have the ability to create a full stack website. Then you have to have then need to test the website in order for you to understand if you are going to have any sort of bugs or any sort of limitation for the website. Then you now have to maintain your website. So let's look at system development life cycle. What is, in a nutshell, yeah. So as we said, we have our planning phase, where we've now spoke with our client. We've now gathered what our client needs to know from us. We have analyzed what we need to achieve the website. We looked into time frame, the team, and what are the requirements from our client. We've been able to design our front end, and we've been able to structure our database and our front end and our back end. So then we've now been able to implement. This is where our coding side, where our developers are going to work on our website. Then we were able to test in and integrate our website, and the final stage is going obviously to be maintaining our website. So to maintain our website, we now need to collect feedback, or we can do this through surveys or recommendation from our client. So there are several system development lifecycle methodologies. So as nowadays, Agile is the most used by companies, companies, where we constantly integrate and implement changes to our website. So a much traditional system development lifecycle, which is not used, it is still used, but it's not as used as Agile, is waterfall, where the way we explain where these 6 stages happens in a waterfall system. So there is no integration, there is no continuous changing and continuous development when it comes to waterfall. So if something is wrong in the design phase, and in maintenance, we need to start again. We need to go back to step 1, carry all the tasks back to step 6. While with Agile technology, if we're in step 5 in testing, our client is now asking for some changes, we don't have to go back for the initial phase. We can now implement continuous integration and continuous development in order for us to not stop the project and carry on with it. So there are various tools which allows us to work with in an agile team. So there are several of them. So there are several online software, which allows us to work in an agile team. ServiceNow, which is a very well-known platform. Lucid, Draw.io. There are various software out there that allows us to do this. And then once we've now planned and designed and looked into, so with Draw.io and Lucid, we can create some sketch mark. We can look into how to design our user interface for our website. Once we've now looked into user interface, we now have to look at implementation. So as a developer, you now have to choose your full stack, depending in if we want to work with MERN, where we're looking into MongoDB as a database, Express.js, which is a framework of JavaScript, React.js, which is a framework again from JavaScript, which was developed by Facebook, and Node.js, which again, this is a very powerful tool that allows us to have our backend communicating with our front end. So we could use MERN as a full stack, which I believe is the most used MERN full stack is the most used by companies nowadays. So if you have the ability to work with MERN and you're able to create project, so for example, with the assignment that we've been given, if we're able to implement a project using these technologies, this will now have a very, very responsive website. So use a really good website that I would advise to learn and practice our knowledge, where we could learn a lot about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, is W3 School. I think W3 School is absolutely amazing because it takes you through everything step by step, all the concept that we need to know when it comes to building a website. It also gives us with practical example where we can run some of them. We can even run them. So obviously we've been presented with our boilerplate, where we now have our text file, and he also explains to us what happened there. So for instance, division. Here we have an example of how we added a division just to implement this column. And here's our result, where we can see this division has been highlighted in yellow. So this is a 1 hour session, so I won't be able to take you through all this concept of HTML, CSS, like how to embed them and everything. So I highly recommend to play around with this website, where it gives you everything you need to know, where it tells you gives you introduction. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. It gives you a boilerplate, a simple one where you create your very first simple HTML file. Once this file is now being created, it now explains you the structure of it, where you have title, you now have your body, and within the body, whatever you can do. So we have a header 1, paragraph, breaks, which sends you to a new, which is going to break the paragraph and sends you to a new line. Then we have different HTML styles. So he explains how HTML styles are going to be attribute used to add style to element. This is where the of design comes into place. That's where we'll now introduce you to CSS, where CSS basically is our style. So how we want our website to look like will be now being implemented with our CSS. So we know there are three type of ways to link our CSS to our HTML file. This could be with internal link, external link, or embedded. So let's just go here on CSS. Yeah, inline, internal, and external. So depending on if we want a single, like a paragraph, to have a specific design, we're going to give an inline CSS to that paragraph or to that specific section of our website. If we want our whole web page to have a specific design, we're going to use internal. But then if we want to have multiple pages, which each of them has their own design, we'll now use external, where is going to be one CSS file. This file is just focusing on design, and is now going to have links to our multiple pages. So when it comes to external, that's where we'll now need to learn everything about CSS. So for developers to make their life easier when it comes to designing, you can now integrate Bootstrap, where with this Bootstrap, you have templating available for you. Once you integrate this Bootstrap, you won't have to waste as much time as you would have to do if you're now completely building a design from scratch. So Bootstrap, I think, save you a lot of time. Then JavaScript, again, is really important for us. So if we want our website to have a specific role, so once we've implemented our text files with our HTML, we've now given a specific design with our CSS and our Bootstrap. We now need to have the ability of our website to do something for us. So if we're now building an e-commerce website, we'll now be required to have some functionality to our website. We have to make it interactive, which allows our client to have the ability to shop or do whatever they want to do. So that's when JavaScript comes into place. And again, JavaScript is the most popular programming language at the moment. So learning JavaScript, I would say, would open many doors for you if it comes to web development. So JavaScript, again, is a programming language. is he works with an interpreter. So he's high-level programming language, where the difference with JavaScript and other languages, say for example, we're looking at Java. Java works with a compiler. So how Java works, you now have you now give commands in English language, and these commands, these codes are now converted into binary number. So we know that a computer doesn't understand English language, but you only understand binary numbers, which are sequences of 0 and 1. And our compiler allows us to convert English language into binary numbers. Once our compilation has been done, our machine is now going to return a value to us, which is a value of, again, 1 and 0, but this will now be converted into our output. And this is done through our compiler. By JavaScript doesn't work with a compiler, it works with an interpreter. So it's a high-level programming language. So if with Java, the command you've been given doesn't make sense, you throw an error, or your program will probably won't run. While with JavaScript, you're still going to have something because you try to interpret what you're trying to do. So Python and JavaScript are high-level programming language. So that means they don't work with a compiler. So again, when we creating our HTML file, say we now have a landing page, our home page of our website, we now embedded our CSS, then we now also have to embed our JavaScript file. So the best website used for, sorry, not the best website, the best IDE is Visual Studio Code. So IDE allows us to write our code and run them on the terminal. And again, once we created our JavaScript file, we now need to link our file with our HTML. So I believe in the sessions with Mr. Henry, he's gone through all you need to know about JavaScript and all you need to know about programming. So I have a question. Clement, which programming language was taught by Mr. Henry to you guys? Was it JavaScript? I'm assuming that was there.
It's very hard to remember. Can't.
Oh, okay. No problem, no problem. Anyways, web development can be done in different languages anyways. So yeah, I believe one of the script process. Website with a range of web pages. Yeah. What was I saying? Let me just get rid of these pages. Yeah, so JavaScript, as I said, was one of them, as definitely up there as one of the programming language in high demand. Also with W3 School, once you've carried out all this concept, you can even have you can even take a test, and once you've passed your exam, you're now going to be awarded with a certificate. And where is Node? So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, the three of them are going to focus mainly on our front end. So nowadays you could be a front end developer, back end developer, or if you have the ability to work with the both of them, you're now a full stack developer. So obviously if you have both technical skills, you're gonna have more opportunity to get a job as either front end or back end, but also full stack developer. While if you just focus on one of the two, obviously your options will now narrow down a little bit. So I recommend to everyone to fully learn back end and front end. Again, you can now learn Node.js from here, from W3 School. So let's look into what is Node. So Node is free, is an open source runtime that runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux and more. So it lets you execute JavaScript code outside of a web browser, enabling server-side development with JavaScript. Built on Chrome V8 JavaScript engine, Node.js is designed for building scalable network application efficiently. So again, by the definition, this allows us to run JavaScript outside our web browser. And lastly, when it comes to database, MongoDB, I would highly suggest to learn MongoDB. So when it comes to databases, we need to learn that there are structured database and unstructured database. So what does that mean? Structured database, they follow a linear structure, while unstructured will now not follow this linear. So what do I mean? When we have to work with videos, files, and heavy documents, these are not going to have a linear structure. So when creating an application like Instagram, Facebook, or so they have very loads of functionality. So these are unstructured data that is going to be processed in your application. So it is important for us to work with unstructured databases such as MongoDB. So I really recommend you learning MongoDB as a database management system. So there are many other type of them. There is SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and again, MongoDB. So I feel like this is what we need when it comes to creating our full stack development, our full stack application website. Also, it will be a bonus. It will be not a bonus. Let me not say bonus. It will be really great if you learn more concept regarding cloud computing and where the ability to host our website in cloud service providers such as AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, where we're now going to have a lot of advantages where AWS is going to manage the storage for us, or even the networking and the security, everything for us. So cloud computing is a very emergent technology at the moment, and it is highly recommended to learn about cloud computing and how to host our website on AWS, for example. So, okay, looking at our system development lifecycle, we've now come to implementation, where we looked into the suitable programming language, which are going to be a MERN full stack. Then here, we need to be able to test our website. So we'll now have various. So when we work in a team, we will now have our software testers who are going to run automation testing on our website to search for bugs and search for improvement in our website. So if building the website, if you feel like building website is not your suitable career, you can now look into software testing, which have completely different methodologies used compared to our web developers. And once this has been tested, we now have to have the ability to deploy our website into production. So let's now look into our assignment. So I'm just going to read through the assignment, and we're now also going to have a Q&A session. So if you guys have any question regarding the assignment, ask me. While for Ezra, which just joined the course, you can just simply go through the recorded presentations. Once you've watched them, you should know what you're required to add in the website. Sorry, in the project. So just to let you know, Ezra, this is not going to be extremely complicated for you. Even though I'm going through assignment discussion, you very much make sense for you, because each of these 4 learning outcomes are stuff that you will now have to write within these tasks.
Okay.
So if you just watch the recording, you will now make sense, because everything that's here, that's in the assignment discussion, has been explained there. So
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
yeah. Okay, let me read through this. So you're a web developer working on a website consultancy business. The consultancy has been appointed to design a new website for a dental practice. So the dental practice doesn't currently have a website, and they have asked that the website is responsive in design and allows patients to register for their practice and book an appointment. So the practice would also like to be able to run reports to show them appointment booked by the patient. So you have been asked by your manager to look at planning, designing, and producing, testing, and implementing the website. Your manager has also asked that the complete website is hosted online in a test environment before going live. So task 1, web planning. So this should be a Word document, where in this Word document you're just going to explain everything. So basically, you have been assigned the project to complete by your manager, and they've asked you to begin planning for the website. You will need to prepare a plan for the entire website. Your manager will approve the plan before you're allowed to continue with the actual development of the website. So your plan should include an outline of why it is important for the website to be responsive for the client, an explanation of different methods that can be used to create a website and which methods you will be using, a storyboard design for each page of the website, an explanation of the tools required for the website development and the languages that can be used for the website development. So we've covered this during today's session, where I explain about MERD, an explanation of website design issues that need to be considered, an explanation of benefit of using storyboard design when developing the dental practice website. So to gain a distinction grade, you must also include in your plan an analysis of the impact of designing the website without sufficient pre-planning. Task number 2, design and implement of the website. So your manager has now approved you to begin the development of the website. Based on the plan, in task 1, produce a website containing the following: a range of web pages linked together with a clear navigation method, a style sheet for your website, pages containing a range of media content throughout the website, a database linked to the website in order to store patient details as per the brief, queries and lookup to meet the dental practice requirement. So the database should allow staff to run reports from a staff-only area on the website, where the database should have a list of patient future appointments and past appointments. Once you have completed the above task, create a document for your manager, which explains how the database is structured on the website, describing the law and regulation that have been considered as part of the development. So to gain a merit grade, you must also include in your document for your manager an evaluation of the impact that laws, regulation, and standards have on the design of the website. To gain a distinction grade, you must also include on the website features that provide additional functionality in the web page development. Task number 3, test the website. So you have now been asked to test the website to ensure it is fit for the purpose and meets the client requirement from the original brief. So you have been asked to complete the below activities and evidence each within a document for submission to your manager. Create a test plan for the website detailing the test you're going to complete. Explain the resources for testing the website and the testing methods you have chosen to use. Test the website using test plan and evidence the outcome of each test along with the end result. Amend the website based on the result of the testing if required. Task number 4, publish your website. Please obtain your FTP user and password details from your tutor prior starting this task. The website has now been completed, approved, and is ready to publish online. Your manager has asked you within the below action, produce a how-to guide describing process where you are now using to publish the website online, and create a guide for the client to do this themselves if they wish to make small changes to the website in the future. The client is considering purchasing a range of domain names and additional hosting. Explain in a document the purpose of domain names to the client, and describe the website hosting consideration the client should make. Set up and configure a web hosting solution for the client so the website can be hosted online. Using the hosting login details provided by your manager, upload the website using FTP. Evidence your upload using screenshot of in the document. So these 4 tasks basically are going to follow a system development lifecycle. Let's just do the image again. I've never closed that one before. Why is it so slow?
Do we do all these tasks in like a Word document, or like how do we like put this all together?
Yeah, so okay, so task 1, the planning, goes on a Word document where you basically just need to outline, explain how you plan the website.
Yeah.
Design and implementation of the website. Here's where you're going to work with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And also you're going to work with a database of your choice. I recommend I'd recommend you working with MongoDB, or you could use Oracle database. So once that has been implemented, you can take screenshots of your website. You can take, for instance, a screenshot of your UI, your front end, then screenshot of the code, and you can paste them in your Word document and explain each screenshot what they are. So you have to add comments to it.
Yep.
Then testing again, this can be done on your Word document where you basically explain what testing you've done, what did you choose, what testing tools you choose to use for this. And that goes on a Word document. For the coding side of it, again, after the screenshot, you can even add your JS files, your JavaScript files, your HTML files to the assignment. So you create like a folder where you have your Word document with the explanation, your files containing your code, and also the schema for your database. Then again, task 3 is still in your Word document where you explain how you did your testing. And publishing the website. Again, you can just explain how you were able to set up your account on GoDaddy or any of these hosting providers. You just take screenshot of GoDaddy's, create an account. I did this, I did that. Then I was able to upload my file. I was able to pay for, with a small fee, purchase my domain. I was able to upload my website into GoDaddy or any hosting provider that you now choose. So mainly a Word document with screenshots and explanation of each task will be perfect.
Okay,
And then
thank you.
again, yeah, again, if you can attach your files, your HTML file, that'll be suitable. But if you can't do that, that's still fine, as long as your screenshot and explanation are on the Word document.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other question, Clement? Do you have anything to ask?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, Ezra, is there anything else? Word count, plagiarism, huh?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, how do I access recordings from other meetings? Because I think other students have like done previous units that I haven't done. So I don't know how to find the recordings of those meetings that
Yeah.
I've missed.
Okay, I'll just send a message on, you know what, you can just, are you in the group chat, on the WhatsApp group chat?
Yeah, but it only goes back so far because I joined it recently. I can't see like chats that were sent before I joined
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I'll send them a message. I'll let them know that you want. Do you not have access to Moodle? Do you not have access to it?
Yeah.
The recording should be on Moodle as well. But if they're not on Moodle, I'll just drop a message now to let them know that you need the presentation.
Okay,
The
thank you.
recording, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, for the units that have been done, yeah.
Yeah, so this is all we need to know for this. Any other question, guys?
No, I don't think so.
Okay then, so thank you very much for joining, guys, and if there's any issue, just drop me a message or send me an email and I'll be more than happy to help you.
What's your email?
Let me just put in the chat. Yeah,
Thank you.
I just dropped it down.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, guys, and
Thanks very
have a good day.
much. You
Okay,
too. Bye.
bye.